Hello, 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 and welcome to Beauty Pioneers. How is everybody doing today? I am your host, Coach Lee. I know I put on there consultant. I'm still going between the two because I don't know, Don. I kind of like consulting a little bit better than coaching, but it's still the same thing. And Coach Don Ferguson, how's everybody doing today? Hold on, I ain't do that right, y'all. I didn't do that right. I didn't do that right. I am consultant Lee Hill. I don't know how Hill got on there. I didn't put that on there. And we have the beautiful Coach Don Ferguson. That's a little bit better. How we doing today, everybody? Yes, 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 yes. Don, this has been, for me, it's been a great, great weekend. I really had a great weekend. And it doesn't end because tomorrow is, what is that? The Memorial Day. So we got
Mm-hmm.
Memorial Day. I know your week has been hectic. Mine was hectic as well. And what we're going to talk about today, ladies, mothers, we're going to talk about teach them while they are young. We got a couple of not a couple, we got a few videos, not very long at all, that we want to discuss about how we need to talk to our children as children, right? And teach them things so they won't be like a lot of people are today, grown adults that's still acting out from the childhood, their traumas from their childhood. So I think that this is a great topic to talk about. Um, Don, what I wanted to say, I want to congratulate you. I did see your post. I did see you. Was it the hers awards? Am I
Yes,
saying
the
it?
her awards. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about it before we go into the show?
Actually, it's the first time her awards celebrating female athletes in South Florida. It was about 20 girls, 22 girls. We partnered with Warren Henry and Joe DiMaggio Hospital and celebrating female athletes. It went over extremely well.
Love.
Salute to the girls that push through to win, I think it's no, not good. We Yeah, so we're looking forward to having it next year. So we have the go ahead on production for next year. Yeah, I'm excited about it. So the best way to feel good is celebrate other people for me.
That's just how it goes. That's where, believe it or not, when we so focus on ourselves, the
Hmm.
blessings don't come that way. It actually comes when we focus on helping other people. Everything else we have,
Absolutely.
it'll work itself out. It falls into place. So we kind of talked about, and again, I loved seeing you up there. I did repost, and they can go
Well,
to.
thank you.
It's on Don Ferguson on Facebook and Don Cosmetics as well, right? They can
Yeah.
do it. Okay.
Mhm.
Perfect, perfect. So I'm gonna post this little girl. I know a lot of you have seen this post before, this video before, because it's been going on for, I think it's out for a couple of years, Don, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
But I wanted to start it off this way because this is the state of a lot of our children. Now, Don peeped something else about the video that I peeped later on, but this video holds so many different textures for so many people that I thought it was good to go ahead and post. So let me go ahead and do that now. Hold on a moment. Step to the side, step to the side.
Even like
I'm
kids.
so ugly. What?
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. You are so pretty. When you look at yourself, you supposed to say, I'm so pretty. You are so pretty. Do you hear me? You got the prettiest little dimples. You are too cute. Oh. Oh. Oh, you gonna make me
I had to pause it, cut beat, and the reason why, Don, it was the cry for me, and I was like, man, it made me go back to my days or whatnot, and some of that stuff that I dealt with as a kid, right? And I wanted you to expound a little bit what you saw and what you thought about that video, even though I didn't play everything yet.
Um, the video is it was painful to watch, and I'm sure it was painful for for that baby to go through. I'm pretty sure she was teased and she was called ugly. She was
Mm-hmm.
called ugly, so she felt it. You know what I mean? So when she told her that she was beautiful, it was a shock to her because
Right.
she began to accept the fact that she was ugly. She'd already accept that she was ugly. She'd accepted what people were saying about her, you know, and that's the world. The world beats you down long enough. They beat out your self esteem. And she's a dark skinned, beautiful dark skinned baby. And when I look at locks aren't glorified on dark skinned people. It's
Mm.
glorified on light skinned. It's like, oh wow, that's really nice. That's a nice look on you. You know what I mean? But when it's I think when I don't see, like, Lauryn Hill to me was the first girl that came out with locks that was like
Yeah.
super on stage, right? When you
Right.
look
Right.
back on it in the day, but no one really embraced her style.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It took years, I think, for them. No one really embraced that look. Only now that does that look like really stand out, and it's very empowering, but not back then. She
Right.
was just, very different, so to
I
speak.
but you know what? I remember when Lauryn Hill
But
came
when you
out
see
with.
Eva with it, uh-huh,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
And I was saying, when you see Eva, like when you see Eva, like Eva now with the
Oh,
locks, to me,
yeah.
it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's a soft girl. It's just more embraced.
Right.
I think the play of it is versus Lauren um and Eva.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
both have locks. They both have locks, but they're both celebrated in different ways.
I'm gonna be honest though. When Lauryn Hill came out
Mhm,
with Fox, it seemed like that became the trend because Lauryn Hill was beautiful. She was different. I
mhm,
saw a
mhm.
lot of people, growing up being here in Miami.
Yeah.
I think this was like 90, this is like maybe 96, 97. I'm
Mhm,
thinking
mhm,
people was now all of a sudden people was embracing locks and things like that. Let me real quick
mhm,
respond, see what Jade Mobley says. That video broke my heart. That baby is beautiful inside out. Yes,
mhm,
that's so true. But the thing is, like Don was saying, like when you're a kid and you being picked on, and especially when you in like elementary, it is very evident that she was in elementary school, maybe kindergarten or something like that. Kid, me personally, just on even as adults, that I noticed that when people don't understand something, and like you say with Lauryn Hill, she was different. She's different or whatever. They tend to be negative. They tend to draw up their own conclusions of things
mhm,
and say all these crazy stuff, but they really just don't understand. To me personally, I think that if you don't understand it, you should try to understand it if you're interested in finding out. But if you're not interested, don't say something negative towards it because it actually makes you look ignorant because you don't really know what's going on. But
mhm,
for the little girl, imagine now, I'm talking about grown adults that carry on like this, right? No matter, especially in the church community, right? Now, think about elementary school where, especially for that little girl, remember like picture day, you got to have your hair, your mama press your hair out. Now they flat ironing the hair. They adding weaves in kids under 4 years old hair. So
mhm,
imagine that little girl coming to school and her mom saying, I want dreads. I'm gonna put dreads in your hair. And I know a lot of times someone putting dreads in a child hair doesn't mean. I used to think that people putting dreads in their hair, they was just lazy. Because most of the time, Don, when I'm talking to my clients, they're like, I'm just gonna put braids in my hair. I'm like, I'm gonna put dreads in my hair, and I'm like, well, why? I'm gonna lock my hair up so I can stop. I said that requires more work. But they think like, it's just something they don't have to keep bothering with her hair. So I'm looking at the little girl. I didn't know until Don made the comment about that people tend to look at light skin and think that that's more attractive than on a dark skinned person. But now that you present it, that is definitely one of the things that little girl probably was feeling. Everybody else going to school with with their hair out, depending on what kind of school. If it's a diverse school, you got the Hispanic girl with the long hair. You always got the Black girls that got the long, pretty hair, or even at least they got their hair curled or something, right? Even braided up real pretty. But she got to go to school with dreads. She got to go to school with her hair locked up. And I want to ask you something, because I don't know. I saw it and kids were picked on. You know what I mean? And so I want to ask you something. Do you think it's wise for people to do that? I mean, people are going to do whatever they want to do, and that's their prerogative. That's their children. But do you think that they should push that on their kids at such an early age? I'm just curious of your thoughts on it.
Push what? Locks?
Yeah,
That's the
that's hard.
culture.
Yeah.
That's the culture. A lot of people, I see a lot of people with locks and their children have locks. That's the culture. That's the religion in there.
Don, your
It's
phone
like
kind of breaking up
it's
a
like
little bit. Mhm.
I don't know.
I'm listening. I can hear
It's
you
like
now.
okay. It's like a religion, So
Right.
I think locks is very symbolic to the culture, to your beliefs. It's a lot of things that circulate behind the just wearing locks. For me, my decision to wear locks was freeing for me. It was liberating. I didn't
Mm,
have to blow dry my hair every day. I didn't have to I didn't the maintenance of it was extremely low. I was just in an era where of my life that didn't require me to be on stage as much or be out there as much. So it was like I could kind of give my hair a break. So I was like, I've always enjoyed locks, and I think it was a style that I never had. I've had every style: braids, weaves, pin plaids, links,
right.
all types of different styles, and I've never had the locks. So once I began to lock my hair, it was liberating.
I you know I grew well. My when I was married, my his brother, my ex brother-in-law,
Mhm,
all his children, they were into Egyptology, and all of his kids, as soon as they were born, they started locking up their hair. And believe it or not, they
mhm,
actually are beautiful. The Shakura, all
mhm,
that red, that their hair look pretty.
mhm,
One of the kids, when they got to be grown, they cut that stuff off their head. They're like, mm-mm. But for the
mhm,
most part, the kids actually look beautiful, and I think that was a part of their religion. I was just curious about that, because you can think the weight of that on that little girl, and that cry. And I'm gonna play the video again, but the
mhm.
cry was heavy. So I said, that
Hi,
baby,
Keisha. Yes.
just think of the baby being so young at that age with so much pain. And I think that was
Oh,
the
yeah.
thing.
She was definitely being teased. She
Right.
was definitely being teased and bullied in school. Yeah,
And sometimes
absolutely.
it can even be in your home. My brothers done, when they get mad at me, you get to the ice cream truck and you still got your candy. My brother be like, yo, black, ugly, skinny self. And you'll laugh it off, and you'll, run your food and stuff. But then after a while, that stuff
Mhm.
used to affect me. So that's what this
Right.
video is about, because a lot of us, right? And it's not just the skin
Mhm.
tone, not just the darkness. It is certain things that happen to us that
Mhm.
has affected us now today. That's why you see a lot of women in different areas of their life. They're more because if we don't teach them now, then they grow up to be grown adult children. The behavior is childlike, right? And then especially as young ladies, right, we start seeking validation through sexuality, through our vanity, through those different things. And so if a man, even though you out there, you half naked, and a man saying, hey, what's up? Now you're talking about, don't disrespect me like that. But you actually disrespecting yourself like that. But our mindset of the women today is so warped that a lot of that, why they're coming out like that, not all of them, some of them just, they think that's sexy or whatever the case may be. But a lot of times you're acting out on what happened to you when you was a kid. What happened to you. So now you got the body, and now you're like, they gonna see me, and that's what we're dealing with. And I think I did a video a while ago about living through your trauma in your relationships. We go into relationships and we got all this baggage and all this trauma, and it comes out in that. And so I think this video was perfect to talk about getting them while they're young, and how it's so important for mothers and women, the matriarch, to be able to, the children in your family, the children in your neighborhood, to be able to pour into the children, teach them, right? What you were saying earlier, that was Keisha, what's up? Hey there, ladies. It's been a long time. That's what you was trying to say. Since I've able to catch this live stream. I know, Keisha, don't do it to us. Don't do it to us. Keisha says, and I'm putting these on the thing. Don, can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
You see what Keisha said to you, and then I'm gonna read Jade.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Don, I see so many kids, girls and boys wearing locks. Yeah, I don't know when that came in, but I remember it was a time that was not the thing that, people, was striving for. You know what I mean? Like, that was back. But it seemed like when what's her name? When Wyclef and like you say, Lauryn Hill came out with the locks, I start seeing more women getting involved into it, getting more. I don't know, maybe the world was always there. What you saying, Don?
Uh-huh.
What
The first one for me was Lauryn Hill.
Mm-hmm.
My first encounter was Lauryn Hill. And it still wasn't mainstream. It was still just like a statement piece. Now she rocks like a pro,
right?
But I think the locks are just as empowering as the afro. It's like the new age afro. That's why so many people are, you have to keep it tame. You have to, smooth it out, Eva wears it well on, on the show that she's on. I think it looks really, really nice on her.
Mm-hmm.
She's, not everybody, I think, can like carry the lock look,
right?
I guess, but to each his own.
But
she carries it really well. Mm-hmm.
I remember when Whoopi Goldberg was wearing locks. That was way. I think Whoopi Goldberg was wearing locks way back in the 80s.
Yes, she was.
Short, and I was
I love Whoopi. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for some reason, was actually, she could really rock it. I couldn't imagine Whoopi right now in this day and life without him. I'd be like, well, where the dreads at? You know what I mean?
But the locks, they were too heavy. Like, it wasn't her natural locks. So they were creating this style on Whoopi that didn't really look. She looked great in it, but it wasn't natural. It's like it was very cosmic. Very, and it didn't soften her features to me. To me, it made her features look a lot harder. Now her locks are a little bit more soft. I do watch The View, and I've noticed the other day they're not as large as they used to be. You know what I mean? It was like it was just too much yarn. It was just too bulky, and I think she probably said, "Look, you guys are gonna have to figure out a way to make my lock style work, because this is who I am." You know what I mean? So she was not gonna change her overall aesthetics. You know what I mean? You guys, it's like she stayed who she was, when
Right.
she came on The View. You know what I mean? They polished it up. I love the denim look that she has. I love her whole look. I just think when it came to her hair,
Mm-hmm.
the yarn or the extensions that they were using were just too bulky for her particular style, for that particular style. I think less bulkiness would have softened the look a little bit more. You know what I mean? To me,
I
that's
think
my
also
professional opinion.
I, I
But I think go ahead.
I think it was you that talked about Whoopi. Maybe it was you, or maybe I saw it on
Mhm.
a video where they were talking about how Whoopi Goldberg actually, if you notice, she changed her style because you brought out the fact of that the dreads or the locks were too heavy. And when you get to a
Mhm.
certain age, you see that. You see that with what's his name? Just in case I don't make it home tonight. What's his name? Well,
I
to
don't know,
oh, come on. Come
girl.
on, Jaheim. Jaheim.
Oh,
Jaheim had the dreads, and then I don't know what happened. Something happened in Jaheim's life.
oh,
He
really?
kind of, yes, he looks very aged, and I think he is like early 50s, I think. But he looked old in his 40s, maybe in his 40s. I don't know. Somebody pull it up. Keisha, I know you own it. But
Locks
um,
require a lot of work. A lot of people don't think they don't. You know what I
right,
mean? But they do,
right.
because your hair is growing out, so it has to be maintained. You
Mm-hmm.
think it's freeing, but I mean, you may not have to maintain it as often, but you have to maintain it. You know?
Right, right.
Yeah, and that's the thing when it's not only what is his name? Uh uh Jay-Z can walk around with that stuff sticking up all on top of his head like that.
Precious
Got to
Lamb.
be because he is what already wealthy.
Yeah, he can pull that off, but thank God he got one of the most beautiful women to love him. But
Right.
is it safe to say? Because now I'm thinking I'm taking it back. Even Tracy Chapman, was it a
Mhm.
time that dreads were signified to women who did not want softness, who was more in the arena of their sexuality? So dreads actually made them look more hard, and that's why they wore it. Like that was like a part of their era or a part of their look. Does that make sense? Because they didn't want the makeup, they didn't
No,
want things.
no, dreads is locks are, or when they said dreads is like you're supposed to dread the person. It's dangerous. It's like it to fear the person, but it's not. Locks are based on your religion. That's how it started. So it started
Oh,
like
the
the
Rastafarian.
yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's where it originated. So it spilled over. It's a religion.
Right.
It's a freedom. You have to do the research on it. But it's now in the modern terms of Bob Marley. They it's like, yeah, man, that's a Rasta. So like when we visit Jamaica, it's like, okay, what's up, Dread? You know, I'm a
Yeah.
Rasta lady. Yeah, I'm considered a
Yeah.
Rasta lady because of my locks. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, that's a Rasta there.
Yeah.
So
Um, I
it's a
remember
religion.
when I
Hmm.
was in junior high, and my some of my cousins was their dad was Jamaican. They was raised in Jamaica and things like that. And I remember when they came, their accent was so thick. They was from Montego Bay. And I
Uh-huh.
remember my brother had a fight with somebody. We was in junior high.
On my
He
bed.
he had a
Mhm.
fight with
I'm
somebody in
listening.
junior high, whatever. And
Mhm.
they were like, the dread man coming. And we ran out the school, child. This is Capital City, child. Y'all call it Miami Gardens now. We was like, who the dread man? Because at that time, Rastafarian and all that stuff, people was afraid,
Yes,
right? We was afraid or whatever. This was like, and we ran out or whatever. So it's funny because it's like if you had
the Posse
dreads, it was
Boys.
like, yeah, it was a big deal. Then you had Zoe. You had the
Yeah.
Zoes, they wore the dreads. So that's
Mhm.
like a signature thing. But it was always connected to something hard to me, something like you said, religion and things like that. Let
Mhm.
me go ahead and read this. Jade Mobley, locks are beautiful and they really help to retain length, but people are very cruel to dark-skinned little girls. I seen that when I was coming up in school. Yeah. I definitely agree with that, Jade. Yes, they were. And Keisha says, yes, Jade, you are so right about that. And why is that? That's like really crazy to me that it's like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I guess it was always
We
a
fear
divide.
what we don't know.
Right. Right. That's so true, Don.
On
We
that about.
I seen
We fear what we don't know. We criticize the unknown,
right. I seen that a lot
and
in church.
it's new.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Church people call the
they
devil in
criticize it. I get it
oh,
sometimes.
mhm.
Yeah, yeah. It's like dreads. What are you doing? What are you doing with dreads in your head? I'm like, I have
Mhm.
locks. It's not dreads. Dreads mean to fear me. That's
Right.
so it's not dreadlocks. I don't want you to fear me. I have locks. I'm not here for you to, so people put their own spin on it to make it negative when they don't want it. Anytime they see something that's empowering, it's
Mhm.
very empowering. It's just lock. It's an empower. It's a power statement. I am
Right.
free to wear my hair as I please. That's what it
Right.
says.
Right.
I don't. This is my style because you don't accept it or you don't deem it um culturally correct. Who are you to judge how I feel and what it is that I'm doing? Period. But a lot of people, we're very critical of the unknown and things that are unfamiliar. It's
So check this out. So Keisha says, "Oh my God, Senior Jaheim is only 47. I thought he was in his early 50s." Wait now. What's going on around here? I thought he was older than that. I know, but I think that he had something
thank you.
like something happened to him. It's obvious because
Mhm.
at one time they found him like on the street or something like that. But that brother still could
Mm.
sing. And he still could sing, but he had the dreads, and I think he went on with tour with Keisha Cole, and he had the dreads done, and he had the whole men pattern baldness, male pattern,
Mm.
and he had them dreads, and the dreads, and I see a lot of people after a while, especially women, that talk about as they got older, the dreads were thinning them out in the middle of the head,
Mhm.
and so that I don't want to make this a lock thing, but it's great that we're talking about it because we want to, kind of like discern and talk about some of the things that I don't understand, or maybe you don't understand. Keisha say, "Why does Jaheim look like the predator by the head, girl?" I'm now, Keisha is back. Hello, my Keisha. Coach Lee, you were wrong for traumatizing me like that with the man head in your words, precious little lamb. Child, precious lamb. Then the Carolinas, that's what
Ooh.
they don't have nothing nice to say. They say, bless her heart, precious lamb. So I just took that on back down here to Miami because it's a lot of
Oh,
precious lamb going on, honey.
ooh, Jesus.
Um, so we're gonna go back. And so I think that this video, even though Dom pointed that out about the dreadlocks, I think that this video has more texture to it. That even that little girl, she doesn't understand her hair. She was kind of the example of, I think I talked about the video last week about we're responsible for our girls' identity, like how we are
Mhm.
teaching them how they as they're growing up or whatnot. Today, in today's world, little girls only know about hair extensions, and I have some videos showing it,
Mhm.
but I was like that and I'm really excited about this school in Texas that's teaching young girls how to take care of themselves and different things like that. But I was hoping I would find a video where it's talking about them taking care of their natural hair and their natural beauty, but it still is a beautiful thing that they're doing, right? So I'm gonna play the little girl video, and I want you guys. I'm sure you've seen the video before, but I want you guys to kind of get your input on it. I felt like she was already dark skinned, so she was already being picked on. And then the kids were probably like, "Oh, your hair ugly. It's you know how they say it, it's nappy. It's you know what I mean." But when you look at her in the face, she's a beautiful
But
girl.
they hear adults say that. Those
Right,
kids hear adults say and that hairstyle is ugly. They hear adults say that. So that's why they say that. They're only repeating what
right.
they hear adults say.
That's so true, Don. Did you know, real quick before I start the video, did you know New York just passed the law that they have to teach on textured hair now in the
Yeah,
cosmetology schools across? I
yeah,
was like, that is a great thing. And that's
yeah.
pretty cool. They said it's a couple, I think California is doing it. Is the state of Florida doing it?
I think we
I
already
don't
had
think
we had our My Lady back when
yeah,
I
they
was in
was
school. So textured hair is something that has to be taught down here because South Florida is Caribbean and Cuban based. So
right. I'm gonna tell y'all, when I was in my school, it was Cuban based. It was all Hispanic. I was the only Black American girl in the school, and
hmm
they spent 30 minutes on our hair. So that goes to
wow.
let you know they spent 30 minutes to talk up, and the 30 minutes, 20 of the minutes was to talk about how difficult our hair was. All right. Let me see real
Uh-huh.
quick. Jade says, and then I'm gonna go into it. I can't believe they are putting lace fronts on on the kids. Yes, that's like crazy. So you don't even have an identity. You're as soon as the child's coming out, and now I've seen 2 and 3 years olds that are having lace fronts. You're automatically telling that child she is not worthy. You're automatically telling that child your hair is ugly. You got to look like this. This is the mind state of a lot of our women. And this is why it's important to do these kind of videos. Real quick, I'm going to add this and then I'm going to go to the video. I feel we should keep the tracks and wigs off the kids until they are of age. Absolutely, Jade. I think I said that in the last video last week. All right, so let's go ahead.
In
I
the Bahamas,
definitely
they don't have that. The
didn't you say they
Bahamas,
don't
you can't.
allow that?
Yeah, the Bahamas, you can't have artificial hair in only in high school. So from middle school all the way down, it's your natural hair. So no extensions. Only in your when you're a senior and you're in the senior college, you can put hair in your head or extensions. And I think that's a great philosophy. But here in the States, you can't tell people how to wear their hair. It's against the law.
Right, right.
That's why we show up with all these different crazy styles. You know what I mean? A lot of times we don't want any guidance on what to do until it comes out. Until it's a disaster. Like they say, only when blood is shed do we try and recover what is wrong or change the method of what is wrong with the industry. So only until disaster comes, until we will reroute what's going on. And we're still not teaching them how to deal with their own natural hair,
Right.
right? Because they don't feel beautiful unless they put extensions in. Because extensions say I am beautiful. This is
Mm.
why we used to wrap same thing. We would take the towel and put it around our hair and run around the
Mm-hmm.
house because the
Yep.
towel was our long hair. So it's just something within the community where long hair is considered a luxury. Well, they say that in school. Luxury is extensions.
Right.
That's why it's just a
That's a
it's a
luxury.
it's a it's yeah, it's a luxury service. So they know that. So poor people want to feel rich. So the poor people go in and buy the cheapest hair for
Mm.
99 cents to put in their hair to make it long. And that cheap plastic is what tears all their hair out.
Cutting through this hair strands with the plastic fibers when they braiding the hair up.
Yeah, it's just
It does a number.
slice a little razor. Just
Right, right.
slice up your cuticle. That's why the hair is so dead when it comes out of braids, right? If
Mm-hmm.
braids were if braids were really helping your hair, you wouldn't have so much loss.
Yeah.
And it's the technician. It's the technician that's putting all those products in your hair. They first of all, when you're as a when you're a braider, you're not supposed to put products in the hair. That's Florida law.
Really?
So you're just supposed to braid the client. Yeah, you're not supposed to put products in the hair. Your job and your license covers just plaiting,
Great.
just the work, no use of products.
Whoa.
But the consumer is going to say, why are you braiding my hair like that? They know they can't braid your hair, just braid your hair. But that's what the law says on your license. It says it on your license, but they don't follow that, right? Because
Uh,
the consumer is going to say, why you ain't put no mousse in my hair? Why you didn't put no gel in my hair? And they don't have enough science to say, not sense. There's not sense. They don't have enough science to say, this is 90% alcohol in this mousse. This is just gel, and edge control is 90% alcohol. This oil sheen, what the fuck? Why are you putting oil sheen, spraying oil sheen on braids? When I speak to people, I'm like, what are you doing? For the lady to slip and slide off out of the chair, like, why are you spraying oil sheen on braids? It's like the most ridiculous. Like, all the products that they use, you just screaming. What are you doing?
Slip and slide records.
Go
No.
there, but so anyway, girl, go on to the next video because they was just running my pressure up.
Donna got upset, y'all. Don is on the roll. Don is on the roll. Don, what you said? The lady is slipping and sliding out of
Yeah,
what you say, your
sliding out the
pressure?
chair.
Let's see.
Yeah, sliding out the chair. Put all spraying up, putting all that oil sheen all up in the air, just spraying. So I saw this video. I'm like, what is he spraying? He already braided the lady hair, and her hair is so tight. You can literally see the follicle just stretched at the roots. And then you go and put all this oil, and you put the mousse, and then the oil sheen to
Man,
make
listen,
it seem like you did something. I'm like, oh my
Don,
lord.
I'm gonna keep it 100. I think that especially our black people, boy, they love the oil. They love the oil, from the anointing oil in the church, child, to the oil. They that oil, they cannot go. They think oil is like, let me try to think what oil is like. You know what it was like? I'm trying to think when we was kids. And it's right there with, I was about to say go out there and get the switch, but it's right there with when we used to get
Girl.
sick. If you was an island, if you had an island mother, they would tell you to go out there and get the leaves off the orange tree or something
Yeah.
like that.
That's why
Boil
they
the
have
leaves.
all those all
They
that
believe in that
in their
oil. And
face.
I'm
When you see
like,
those girls
Don, it's breaking up. Hello?
okay.
Okay, go ahead now. You okay
Probably
now?
want me to stop talking about it. It's the oil is the worst.
Right.
I don't get
Jay
it.
says, I seen an 8-year-old who was upset because she didn't have a wig on, so she had an attitude. You can't make this stuff up. 8 years old. She want to know where her wig
Yeah.
at. 8 years old,
Yeah.
y'all. We
That's what they
talking
deem
about.
valuable.
Let me say something real quick,
Mm-hmm.
Don. I love the point that Don brought out, the fact that in the Bahamas, you cannot wear hair extensions of any kind until you're in high school. I think that is an excellent thing to
Mm-hmm.
do. And you know why? Because it allows the child to be able to learn about their hair, take care of their hair, get comfortable in their hair, right? Think about how we were in elementary school. You were elementary and middle school, you're trying to get accepted in these different things or whatever. But one thing I do love when I do see my island sisters and brothers, and they are natural. They are they are beautiful. I'm even a black American. Same thing. When you're wearing, you ever seen somebody that they wear a bunch of makeup and then you see them with no makeup and you're like, dang, she real pretty without. She look better without the makeup. That's how a lot of us are when it comes to hair extensions, all this weave. I'm like, man, that's your hair? Yes, you got beautiful hair. Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand that, but we don't want to be bothered with it. So I'm gonna go back to this video and then I'm gonna show you some other things and I'm gonna read Jade things next. We're gonna finish this video out, ladies. Hold on. This is a very good topic, y'all, because again, we have to take control of our
Like
I'm
kids.
so ugly.
Oh,
What?
don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. You are so pretty. When you look at yourself, you supposed to say, I'm so pretty. You are so pretty. Do you hear me? You got the prettiest little dimples. You are too cute. Oh. No, you gonna make me cry. You're not ugly. You are so pretty. You are like you have this beautiful chocolate skin. No, you're not gonna cry. You are a beautiful little girl, and you are pretty. You are the prettiest girl in your class. Boom. Black is beautiful, and if don't nobody ever tell you, I will tell you, you are gorgeous. You are so pretty.
I remember my daughter, who was chocolate, but she had super long hair. So we used to get I'd be at the bus stop where they, Caucasian women and the black one, the black girls like, how many inches of weed that is? I'm like, that's her hair. Child, please. They be thinking we lying or whatever. But I remember this was a relative, and it's happened to me as well with my daughter. My daughter was probably about 3-4 years old. And they used to call her cousin It because her hair was longer than her body because she was a little short, right? And I let her spend a night at the relative's house. And my sister had her son, and my sister's son was high. He considered high yellow, they call it, or light skin. And they told my daughter, don't feel bad that you're not like my nephew. And she said, when they told her that, she said, so mommy, that means that if you're dark skinned, you're ugly. So my daughter, even though she had long, beautiful hair, Jay had curly hair or whatever, she struggled with that for not too long because I jumped all on it because I understood it was my job as a mother to build up her self-esteem, right? To talk about her hair, how beautiful her hair was, to talk about how beautiful Jay has beautiful skin, how beautiful skin is, highlight all the beautiful things about her. And I was glad I was able to catch it. But the sad part is we're talking about the kids at the school, but a lot of times it is your relatives, it is your siblings, it is your parents, right? I've seen it firsthand, right? So I wanted to kind of bring that out real quick, and let me go to the comments. Okay, we saw that. Hold on, y'all. I don't want to skip people's stuff. Give me a moment. Okay, so Jade says, let me show that. Black women have to let that oil go. That's why people have so many problems with their hair. Yeah, they think that oil, Jade, is like the anointing oil. I don't know what that is, but when you talk to them and you're doing a consultation and you're about to do someone's hair, and you're just like, okay, so tell me what your regimen is, what you're doing. The first thing they say, and I put oil in it every day, but it's still popping. I'm like, that's not the key. That's not the key. Keisha says, girl, my mother used to have us. Don, you see Keisha?
Yes.
Girl. Don, you want to read that?
Girl, my mother used to have us so greasy. We used to could fry some chicken. We used to be moisturized. Yes. This girl told me one time I couldn't do no hair, and I looked at her. I'm like, girl, you just so grew. And that damn wig, it can produce an 8-piece chicken meal, honey. They be serious about that greasy hair. I'm like, do you know that it's greasy? It's greasy. Not, I mean, you like greased up, like, and then they wonder why they have such bad skin. I'm like, you have all those products on the hair that's coming in contact with your skin. You lay down, you lay on the sheets, you know what I mean? And all that gook is all coming on your skin. And they have like full acne all on their cheekbones and stuff like
Yes.
that. in their
Yeah.
cheek area. They be like, I don't understand why my hair is breaking out. Your hair is breaking. Remember, we used to wear the bang,
Yes.
and girls that wear bangs, they will always have a bunch of little acne like right here on their forehead. They never had it before, but now they have it. And it's like,
Dawn,
I don't understand why I'm having this acne.
do
And
you
it's because you have an oil on your skin. You got that bang is falling, that spritz on the hair is falling all on your hair and coming in contact. You don't need all those products, but black folks love products in their
uh-uh.
hair. I don't
When I was
understand.
growing up, that pink oil moisturizer was the thing. That was the first thing, right? Pink oil
Oh,
moisturizer.
good
Then
night.
no. And remember
Yes.
when you had your friends that had curly hair, your coolie friends and stuff like that, right? So I'm like, oh, my friends who had the curly perm. I was like, what you use? She's like, and I'm like 7, 8. She's like, oh, come to my house. I'm gonna show you what my mama put. They used to put the Jerry curl thing. Girl, I put that thing on my head and I came home. My mama wore me out. She said, you don't have that textured hair. You can't do. I said,
Right.
it ain't girl. It wasn't girl. I was crying. I said, I was Dawn. It was like my hair was, and my mama had just took me to get my hair pressed. I was like Easter time. Dawn, I got my butt towed
I
up.
know she did.
She said, I know you mother. I know you lying. I am all cow.
Put all that moisture in it and went back curly.
Lord help us.
Alive.
Keisha says that video was hard to watch. Yes, it took
Yeah.
me back. It took me back to those days. And a lot of times, y'all, I'm just gonna speak for myself. A lot of times when you see things like that, where you see kids getting bullied or they're now she's expressing it. She's in so much pain. And I remember what that's like, that you
Mm-hmm.
become the bully. You
Yep.
become the bully. That is something that people don't talk about either. And a lot of times, now you at the school, you got to be fighting and stuff like that because you probably was a kid that didn't have the money. So people didn't want to play with you. It's a lot that goes into that. And the little girl is a beautiful girl. But I was like, I don't know if it's just the dress, but the dress just added on to it. And it's obvious that the parents taking care of her hair, she getting her hair done, but that baby was full of pain. So yeah, that definitely was
Yes.
hard to watch. Jade says they think they can just find a miracle product that's gonna fix it all for them. It's impossible. So true. So true. Keisha is dying laughing. Child, like Keisha, Don said you could squeeze. Don said the lady wig had so much you can tell me you can cook a 6-piece chicken
Yep.
on Don. I'm done.
Mm-hmm. 8-piece chicken.
Jay said we weren't allowed to touch our own hair. Jay, you had long hair? That's the only time I heard you weren't allowed to touch your hair. They had long hair. Remember that? Or you get to school and you get your hair done and
Mm-hmm.
the girl got long hair. We had a girl in our elementary school like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Spanish girl. Her name was Marisol. Marisol hair was on her butt. And we was in the 6th grade. And every time she comes to say, my mommy say don't touch my hair. I'm like, girl, please. So she turned around, we be lifting it up
Yeah.
and playing in the child. So I'm wondering, did you have long hair? And then let me see what Keisha got to say. Kids used to be cruel, but these new kids make me want to flee the country. Shaking my head. You ain't
Yeah.
lying. Mm-mm.
See, we have to embrace our own identity. And it's
Mhm.
hard to do that when you have all these other images stating who and what you should be and what they deem beautiful. So
Right.
with this internet, everything is idolized as beautiful. Thin nose, thin
Mhm.
chin, this shade or this type of skin type or shade color
Right.
and it's very rare that you find dark skinned people celebrated, right? So it's
Mm.
usually the lighter skin that is celebrated. Now you're seeing more and more darker skinned people being celebrated. Viola Davis,
Yeah.
Whoopi, who else? Tyrese, you know what I'm saying?
Lupita,
When
Lupita,
Tyrese hit the field, Lupita, But it's like now their dark skin is being celebrated, but it wasn't a time where dark skin was not celebrated, and it's still snubbed. I get snubbed. Shit, I was called
Right.
a nigger the other day because I made a
Oh,
U-turn. Yeah, somebody yelled out the window, out the window.
right.
So in 2026, right? So
Mhm.
that was the first time ever I've had that experience here in America.
It was funny. I had a
It's
doctor.
here.
I had a doctor tell me the other day. He said to me, and I was like, I don't think he realized he's insulting me. He was like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "Miami." He was like, you're not
Mhm.
like the Miami people." And he did this. He said, like, you're not. He really wanted to say the black girls. He said, you don't talk like the Miami girls or the Miami people. He said, you're kind of like here. I thought you were like from California or something. I'm like, well, what the hell that supposed to be? You know what I mean? And I was like, I don't get it. I wanted him to say, and then I just said, Lee, just back off
Yeah,
or whatever. Man got to take care of you, so leave it
yeah,
alone.
we get that too.
Um,
We get that a lot. Where are you
yeah, but
from?
yeah, I'm like, I'm born and raised there.
You're
Born
not the,
and
you're not the typical Miamian.
yeah, and I got the other
Yeah.
side of me. But there's a time and a place for everything. Right now, I am in the professional, but there
Yeah.
is Carol City all up in me. All right. Opalaka in Carol City.
Mhm.
All right. Now let's go ahead and finish this out. And I'm going to play some videos where we're talking about teach them. All right, ladies, girl, back, I don't know what you were saying, Keisha. Jade says, I had relaxed hair, but my mom kept it styled. It was shoulder length. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I knew that. I was like, somebody paying. They paying for the hair. That's the only reason when they tell you don't touch your hair. Don't. I hate we don't love the skin we're in naturally. Yeah, that's true, Keisha. Because I think for me, because I had it coming out of my home, and then I went to school and I was picked on for I was real skinny, y'all know that, and I was dark skinned, right? And we didn't have the most money, right? So I was picked on a lot, and then I turned into the bully. But I will say this is that I didn't come into accepting my natural beauty and things like that until I was 30 years old. And when I went into beauty school, I went to beauty school earlier than that. I went into beauty school to prove to people that dark skinned women were beautiful. And, I wanted to make, anytime I had a chance to work on a chocolate girl, Dawn liked locks. I like glamour. I've always liked glamour because glamour is like, to me, like pop. Like, yeah, I want you to, whoa. And so I always wanted to work on it started out as chocolate girls, but then it just was just black girls, period, because the arena that I was in was a lot of Caucasian, a lot of other race of people. So I just wanted black women to just shine. And that was me trying to prove something. But it wasn't until I got to my 30s, when I turned 30 years old, I was like, you know what, Lee? You're okay looking girl. You know what I mean? Like I had to start embracing that. So that is very true. A lot of us, and this is the point. This is the point of the whole video. When you look at today's society, you go on Instagram, girls are half naked and all they have to offer that they're showing you. And what's the other thing they got? What's the thing they go on? The men go on, they pay to, I can't remember it, but they pay to look at the women. The point that I'm making is that there's a lot of women that is still in a state of mind like that little girl, that are looking in relationships for a man to validate them. They're searching for somebody to finally love them because they don't have it within themselves. And it's not necessarily they didn't have a father in their lives. Because I knew girls who had the father and the mother in their lives. I was raised like that. But at the same time, something happened to you and you never healed from it. And so now it's coming out at now you're a grown woman and you're from one relationship to another relationship. You just keep carrying more baggage. And he did this to me. And then you're a victim because you never dealt with the things that you need to deal with. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a lot of us that are like that. And it's the same goes for young men. There's a lot of broken young men. And I'm just talking about my community of what I've seen, what I see now. And it's not to say that social media says so many women are walking around like that in the Black community, because they're not as well. But I think that if we catch young girls at like this school that I'm about to show you some of these videos, you'll understand when you teach someone, you teach them about themselves. And that's my whole point. I always talk about, it's okay if you want to wear the wigs and the weaves, but if you don't know anything about your hair, why would you go out and get something and put that and cover yours? You never took the time to take care of your own. You don't take the time to take care of your own hair. You want to know everything you got to put in that curly Indian hair. You want to know what's the best product. You want to know how much heat can I put on it, because I don't want to damage it. I want to wear it throughout the year, because you're going to spend all this money. But if you take that wig or that weave off, your hair is trash. And that is a problem. Your hair is a part of your body. Don, didn't you say that the biggest organ is your skin?
The largest organ on the body is the skin.
So you take a bath every day, but you don't do nothing to your hair for months. Like Don said, you're looking for hairstyles that last months, and you don't want to touch your hair. Come on. That is the issue. So if we get you while you're young and teach you about your natural beauty, your natural hair, then you can be like the videos I showed last week about how the mom was teaching her daughter how to take care of her. Little girl she was excited about her hair. She had natural, beautiful hair. If we could do that instead of, like Jade said, little girl upset at 8 years old that she didn't get a wig.
Because we're not taught that our hair is not glamorous. Because locks are glamorous. They are.
Yes,
Locks are extremely glamorous. They're not glorified. That's why they are mainstream. Locks are now mainstream. You see them everywhere in the videos.
Right.
You see them all on TV. They are now mainstream because they've been made glamorous, right? Even Bob Marley jumping up on stage, how his locks is very liberating, right? So even when you look at his history and of locks and the study of it, it's empowering. So more and more people are embracing it, and it's now, more mainstream. But it's a statement style.
Right.
Is what it is. It's more powerful than a 30-inch weave, straight weave.
Now,
it really is.
I like this place. It's called, I saw this, they doing a reality show, Don. It's called the salon is Jolie Den's Beauty Bar. It's in New York. Everything was pink this particular time, very glamour or whatever. But the girls, what I thought was sad too was women were like, this is the first time I can go to, all they do is braids and the locks and stuff. Beautiful. Them women look gorgeous, right? All kind, tiny ones, short ones, rap looking ones. They got some skills in there, and I love that. I couldn't show it because they had music, so I'm gonna get dinged for music. But I like the fact that they were washing and conditioning and taking care of the person's hair. That was like a first. So as much as we point out those things, I did want to point that out, that like you said, and they look glamorous. Because to me, braids at a certain time, it wasn't glamorous. Braids was like, okay, it's summertime, put braids in your hair. Like, and then it came to braids is low maintenance. I don't have to do nothing hair. But when I looked at that, and of course your hair, when we did, the other day, I was like, man, Dawn looked glamorous, dope. You know what I mean? It's just beauty. And that's the thing about Black women that I wish that we could embrace, that we have so many textures of beauty, no matter what size or whatnot. There are some drop dead gorgeous women inside and out. And if you are a woman that has that confidence and that self-esteem, it is your job in your community to help that sister, that young lady, that little bit girl. If they have no one teaching them, that is our job to teach them, right? That's our job. I'm gonna go to this Jade, and then we're gonna I'm gonna show the other videos. So Jade says, I feel we don't wash our hair enough too. Going months without going months, let me finish it. Going months without washing your hair is crazy. I wash mine about every 2 to 3 days. Hair stays moisturized when clean. I just want to believe that the women that are not washing their hair for that amount of time must be single and in the house by themselves. Because I'm telling you, if you're my friend or whatever, and you're one of those people that don't, and all that slapping and stuff, it makes me itchy. I'm like, when did you wash? You need to wash your hair. It is a sign you don't take care of yourself. It's like somebody going around and not washing their bodies. Stop going in, ladies, please stop going into these salons looking for hairstyles that last 2 and 3 months where you don't wash your hair. That is nasty. That's just my take on it. Last one, and I'm gonna go to the other video. Jade says, I have high porosity, fine hair, so I feel weave isn't suitable for my hair type. And you know what? There are hairstylists that will tell you, they'll look at your hair and they tell you, you're not a good candidate for that. A lot of hairstylists, especially these natural hairstylists that just doing the quick weaves and stuff in your hair because they don't have a cosmetology license, they don't care. So they can look at your hair and tell it's weak, it's brittle, it's breaking off. It could be a number of things. They do not care. And let me just say this. Some cosmetologists as well, they all fall in the pot. We got cosmetologists that don't care. They just want to make the buck. They want to make that dollar. If you don't care, they don't care. So that's just how that goes. So I love this place where they're teaching young girls from age. I was trying to get one where they're telling you, I think it's from age 5 to 16. Now, Dawn and I was blessed that even though I didn't take advantage of it, when we were in high school, they offered cosmetology school and it was free. And you can get your cosmetology license. A lot of the girls that I knew that was in the cosmetology class, they was just in it to get their hair done. So for Friday, so they can go out to the jams and the house parties and stuff like that. So they was in there for that. And a lot of them did not get their license. I'm like, as an adult, and I'm like, you didn't get your license? I'm like, girl, I ain't never get my license. I'm like, it was free. Now, beauty school is like $30K. If not more, it's like $30K. When I was in, it was like $9K. Look how far, you know what I mean? So I love this. Look at this, ladies. This is part of teaching them. Hold on.
I know how to braid fast. I just be trying to get it tight enough so I don't be braiding real fast.
I don't know how to braid fast. I'm working on it though.
You did some feed-in braids. You did a design. Let me see. You did a heart. You did a good job, babe.
Hold on. It's a school in Texas. And like I said, they're teaching kids from 5. What I wanted to see more of, I was going through all the videos and I was like, maybe they'll know that I posted the videos and they'll be like, oh, let's show them that we do teach them about their hair. I didn't see a lot of it. They were teaching them how to take care of a client, how to do the shampoos. But I would love if anybody is watching this video, if you know of school or where they're doing the same thing, teaching the young girls how to wash, how to take care of their hair and different things like that. But it's their actual hair. I would love to see that. But I think this is a step in the right direction, at least, right? I think that's another step. Here's another one. Hold on.
Y'all doing good. Y'all didn't wake y'all client face up. Don't look at me. Keep looking at your client.
last one I'm showing. Hold on, is this it?
All right, Kay, and let me see what you did today in nail class.
I did these 2 nails today.
Okay, what's this nail?
This is it's the coffin ombre pink and white nail,
Okay.
and this one is a pink square nail that I did.
Okay, how do you think this is your second day? How you think you did on a scale of 1 to 10?
I think I did 100 out of 10, y'all. Actually,
100 out of 10. Okay,
100
all
out of
right.
10.
Clap it up for yourself. You did a good job, babe.
Thank you.
Out hair. Like I said, the only thing I wish that they were showing how they do manicures. How do you do manicures on your hands? How do you do your hair? Like, I think that's something that has to be pushed a little bit more, but maybe they do. They just didn't show the videos of it. But I just love the fact. And then if you guys paid attention, every little girl, they look presentable. A lot of these hairstylists be looking like straight trash. I'll be coming in there with the bonnets on and then trying to require $50 deposits and all this money you trying to charge somebody, and you look a hot mess. All those young ladies, they were teaching them the etiquettes of being a hairstylist, a cosmetologist, right? So I thought that was really, really great. And Jade said, hold on. That's awesome. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Don, do you have any last words before we go ahead and close on out?
If you want to become a millionaire, work for yourself. And the age for it is true. If you want a chance at $1 million, you need to go and work for yourself. And in terms of cosmetology, the best age, they tell you the best age to get into the business is 18 to 25. That's the time to get into the beauty industry. Is the ages between the ages of 18 and 25 years old. They offer it here in Florida in the 7th grade. It's taught on a 7th grade level. So it doesn't require the highest of intelligence, but it does require discipline in order for you to make money. And I think a lot of stylists drop the ball when it comes to the beauty industry, because it has propelled it has made a lot of us very wealthy. The ones that have practiced the craft and studied the craft and did business correctly in the craft. A lot of people have become extremely wealthy through the beauty industry, starting out with doing hair. They probably crossed off and doing other things, from purchasing buildings to getting into real estate to opening schools. But the beauty industry itself is extremely lucrative, but we lack the discipline to follow through to get the money, right? Because after beauty school, you have to do continued education. You have to take specialty classes. You have to focus on real hair, not just extensions. And a lot of times we tend to jump on trends and trends fall off. So when the trends fall off, we don't know how to adjust because we don't have a foundation. We never did got the foundation for hair cutting. We never got the foundation for coloring hair. I mean, we don't take the time to pour back into ourselves in terms of rest, getting the proper rest, working out, eating correctly. The beauty, how do you not have, if you have $1 trillion industry, you're bound to have some millionaires out of $1 trillion industry. The beauty industry is $1 trillion industry, but no one does want to do the work. Nobody want to go to class. Nobody want to do continued education. We all celebrity stylists, but nobody want to do the work. You can't tell them, they can't give you the properties of hair. They can't give you the science behind the hair. They can't give you the science behind the products. They don't know why the lady hair is coming out. They don't know why the lady has inflammation. They don't know how to shampoo the hair. So how the fuck you gonna make any money? And then they be like, oh, I want to get out of this business. This is just hard. Well, I can't do this because, it's just nothing here. That's why you fall off, because you don't put in the work. You have to put in the work. You have to pour into the craft, meaning you have to get haircuts. You have to take a haircutting class, right? You can't, how many mannequins? I still have mannequins right now in storage, right? So if I'm inspired to do a particular haircut or hairstyle, I go and get my mannequin and I follow through and implement it on my mannequin before transferring it over onto an actual client. We don't do any study anymore. It's like, oh, I'm gonna get this doll and I'm gonna play with her hair. Okay, you did the doll hair, and then what? You're gonna put some foam and some gel and all these products on the hair, and you don't know why. The science doesn't support the craft, and I think that's where we go wrong in this beauty in the industry. Is we just forget about all the science that goes along with the industry. We just focus on the craft itself and the art form of the craft. We don't focus on the science. We don't look at what the product is doing to the skin, from the eyelash glue, the bonding glue. Who? Why are you putting bonding glue on your eyelashes? That it has formaldehyde in it. All the horrible practices. The lace fronts. The lace fronts were originally designed for people suffering with frontal alopecia. That's what it was designed for, not for somebody with a full hairline. Why are you taking this adhesive and putting it and applying it to your hairline? Why are you shaving your hairline? Why are you destroying your beauty for this particular style? Because you have no self-value. No self-value. When you don't have no self-value, you go in and you embrace all these horrible practices that destroy your beauty. That's what we're doing. We are destroying our beauty, and it's a natural trend. It's like, I hate my hair. I hate my curl pattern. Give me a hairstyle that's going to last me a month. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. That's like saying, go to the dentist and I want you to clean my teeth, and it's not gonna get dirty for a whole month. It's ridiculous, because you're gonna eat, you're gonna live, you're gonna drink. So how can your teeth stay clean as the dentist did it without you? You have to do a daily maintenance. It's ludicrous for us to go in and ask the hairstylist to give you a hairstyle that's going to last a month, that's going to last 2 weeks, that's going to last a week. It's no such thing. Your hairstyle is supposed to last 72 hours. 72 hours. There's no style that is supposed to last you longer than 72 hours. So it's absurd to ask such a thing. So when the clients ask these things, we as stylists have to educate them. Ma'am, there's no such style as that. You as a stylist have to educate the consumer and let them know, ma'am, that's not a realistic assignment. That's not something that I can do. And then you have to show them and give them scenarios, such as the dentist example. You know what I mean? Right. You have to do the work. And my reputation was built on, Donna's not going to do that, because that's not the correct thing to do for your hair. So I was doing repair work. I was getting work from, my value stayed high because of the work I was putting in, because I stayed in those books. I said, no, ma'am, you're suffering from an inflamed scalp. We cannot proceed with a relaxer at this time. I had to fire a girl because she would just not, it's like, oh, so what? I put the relaxer in and she got a burn. She was so dismissive of this client that it's like, so what? And I was like, so what? This bitch is trying to sue me, and you like, so what? You know what I mean?
So what? That's my money.
Hey, so
Right.
what? So what? Have a nice day, ma'am. And she was like, she was stunned because nobody was like firing stylists back then. But
Mhm.
it's like you cannot build such an establishment to have other people come back and tear it down. So to now today, my brand is still standing and my word is still good because I have put in the work. I put
Mhm.
in the work. Clients respect what it is that I'm saying. They respect my work. They respect my information. I can refer them to my fellow colleagues for things that I cannot do. Their diagnosis are on point. You know, there's something internal going on inside of you. You have to know this when your client comes to visit you during your
Right.
consultation. You know, have you gone over her lifestyle? Have you even discussed the desires that she has for her hair? Where does she want to go with her hair? Does she have any goals for her hair? Or, you know, is she just stuck on the style? Because I'm not just here for the style. I'm here to preserve your hair. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because if she just there for the style, she has no loyalty to you because she's gone for the next style. If she's in it just for the hairstyle, that's a temporary client. So you're not, the relationship isn't going anywhere because when it's time for a new style, she's going to and you can't do it, she's going to go find the stylist that can do it. So you
Mhm.
have to be able to build your brand on on the reality of this is what I do, and I'm going to provide you the best quality service that's here. No, I've turned tons of clients away because certain style I don't do that. Well, what do you do, Don? I do this right here.
Mhm.
The end result would be to preserve your hair. The goal is to preserve your beauty, not destroy it. So, you know, you have to suggest or pick a style that's gonna. I have clients now that I want to weave, but yeah, you have sew in, but I have to see you in a week. I have to see you
Mhm.
in 2 weeks. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's
Right.
time for this to come out. It's time to come out already. It's time to come out. And I had to remind her, this is not a style that's going to be in your hair for months.
Mhm.
It's
Right.
not. That's not going to happen. It has to come out. So I think we, as a whole, need to inform the public, inform our clients, and
Mhm.
be very realistic with them, and let them know this style is not. It's not going to last long like that. That's
Right.
not what it's for. You need to come in here every week, you know. And if you can't come in here every week, you need to select a style that's going to allow your hair to perform or do what it needs to do on a weekly basis. You need to clean your scalp every week. I don't care if you're wearing wigs and I don't do anything. I just put this wig on and go home.
Right.
You know, if you bathe every day, your scalp needs a bath too.
Ma'am, please. I'm gonna go ahead and do that for John real quick. Now, Jade asks, I'm 28. Is it too late for me? No, Jade. I actually started later.
Mm.
I think I started a little bit late. Did I start later? No, it's never too late. I can tell you one thing. Dawn is correct when she talks about, millionaires and different things like that. However, I think that the industry now, unfortunately, you have to have a desire. You have
Yeah.
to love what you're doing. If you go in there with the mindset about I'm not making no money, I'm not. You know how many hairstylists when I was first coming into the industry that they came and they sat a couple of days, and when they didn't have the tens of thousands of clients that they thought they was going to have, they didn't understand that it takes about 8 to 9 months to build a strong clientele, right? A lot of them would just get up and leave because the mindset is what they're hearing Dawn is speaking about. But Dawn had to put the work in, as she said. But you have to have a desire, a love to do hair. You have to have a desire and a love and a mindset that your job, your career is of service. You're giving a service to someone.
Yeah.
So no, Jade, it's not too late, but you have to have that desire. If you're coming in there because you want to know if you're going to make 100K that year, don't even apply. Don't even try to go to school or whatever, because as you can see, there are a lot of people, hairstylists, that go in there with that mindset and they have holes in their pockets. They don't have the understanding. And like I saw someone put on here, hold on, let me go back to the comments. Oh Lord, hold on. To the comments, Keisha said, hold on, let me go to hers. Good word, Dawn. Yes, ma'am. Mr. Jermaine Johnson put, oh Lord, I think it's a lack of education. That is very, very true. Hair Pro 1353 said, LOL, Dawn. Dawn was going in. That is very, very true. It is a lack of education. A lot of, I hope that these changes that they're making in the different states, that they put in place, that they give education on business skills, because there are tons and tons, I'm talking about my community, tons and tons of us that come into the industry and you have nothing to show for it because we were not educated. We didn't understand, like Don talked about. I know hairstylists, they pay their insurance, they have medical insurance, they make the money that they're able to do that. But today's time, a lot of women, not a lot of women, but a lot of hairstylists don't have the education to even understand how to invest their money. What's the next, what you should do with it. The other part of the education that is lacked of is that you don't have to just stand behind a chair. There in the beauty world, it's kind of like the medical world. The beauty world, you can be an educator, right? You can be behind a chair. You can be a hair loss specialist. You can be a platform artist. You can be a brand manager for different companies. There are so many areas. You can work for hospitals with people that need services done in the hospitals. A lot of people, you don't know about that. So you can make money in so many different areas, but it is up to you. But you have to have the hunger and the desire to be a hairstylist. Recently, and I'm gonna cut it short after this. I just watched a video where a young lady, it was a Caucasian lady, told the young girl her bill was $3,900. And I went and read the comments. I love to read the comments. And the reason why the girl also added a fee, because it was a last minute thing. The girl went to someone else and they put some horrible extensions in. And so she had to come to her. So guess what? She charged a fee for that. I didn't blame her, because she was going to spend hours. She had to color, bleach the hair. She had the quality hair, all these different things that was included in that. It wasn't just her service. And I saw women in there, black and white. I would never charge somebody this and this and that. And this is a prime example of lack of education. If you understand that you have the quality of hair, that your service, that the service that you're about to implement is, you are an expertise in that. You have learned and mastered that. You understand how to color. You know, understand how to cut. You know, understand all those different things. The price that she charged was correct. And I said to the ladies in there, I said, just as many of you that disagree with the price that she's charging this woman, there's just a lot of women, the same amount of women that would never go to a low-cost salon or a hairstylist. Pick your poison. You pick it. So Jade, this is to you and anyone else that is deciding or thinking about coming into the industry, or if you're in the industry and you want to get better. You decide what type of clients you get. You decide what type of money you're going to make based on what you are willing to invest in yourself and in your business. Period. All that other glitz and glam, it starts with you. So you have to create good habits from the beginning. You create good habits, meaning investing. Don't be cheap on yourself. Invest in everything that you want, right? I'm not saying being a fool and run and spend money, but I'm saying you have to invest your time. You have to find out, do the research on the schools. What's the best school for what it is that you're trying to get to? And when you get into the industry, learn, find your niche. When you find your niche and what you're good at, you will excel. But that is up to you. So I want to say to you all, I really, really appreciate you guys coming in, chiming in. I thought this was a great topic. Don, wonderful, wonderful job. Shout out to Keisha
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
Jade. Yes, yes, yes. And we will see you guys next week, Sunday at 7 p.m. sharp Eastern Standard Time. And I will be showing Ask a Licensed Cosmetologist. The videos will come out Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We love you all, and we want to thank you. Smooches! Oh, hold on. Wait. Before I go, I saw someone. Great advice. You are appreciated. Thank you, Hair Pro 1353. Smooches!